They recognized the kindness within you, didn't they? They noticed the open door, the soft glow of your heart, so inviting, so welcoming, and they walked right in. No knock, no request for permission. They didn't handle your heart with the care it deserved. Instead, they barged in, acting as though they belonged there. They mistook your kindness for weakness, your open heart as a chance to take advantage. To them, it was a place to take what they needed, a refuge they could use whenever their own emptiness became too much. And so they took, again and again, until there was almost nothing left of you. They assumed your heart was boundless, a well of compassion and forgiveness that would never run dry. They kept returning, taking more and more, offering nothing in return. To them, your kindness was a resource to exploit, your love something they could claim, your heart a tool they could use whenever it suited them. And you allowed it, didn't you? You left the gates wide open because that's who you are. You believed in their potential, believed that if you gave enough, if you loved enough, they would finally see your value. So you let them in. You gave them comfort when they were lost. You gave understanding when they felt unseen. You became a safe haven when the world was too harsh. You carried their burdens, held their pain, and offered everything you had. And they took it all, never pausing to consider the toll it took on you. That's the thing about an open heart. It's vulnerable. If you're not careful, some will walk all over it. People like them don't recognize the strength it takes to remain open in a world filled with pain. They see it as a weakness, something they can exploit. They take without thinking of the cost to you. They're only concerned with how much they can get, how much warmth, how much love, before you have nothing left to give. But then, one day, something changed. You saw the truth. You realized they weren't there because they valued you or wanted something real. They weren't there because they loved you. They were there because you were convenient. They came because you were always available, because they knew they could take, and you would still be there, waiting, with the gates wide open. That's when everything shifted. That's when you decided you'd had enough. You realized your heart deserved better, that your love was too precious to be treated like a convenience. You saw that the constant giving, the unending openness, was costing you too much. It left you empty, drained, and broken. So you did what they never expected. You closed the gates. You decided they couldn't come and go as they pleased anymore. Your heart wasn't their resting place. Your love wasn't theirs to take for granted. You built walls. You drew a line. You locked the doors. And you kept the gates firmly shut. And when you did, they found themselves outside. They were left with nothing but the cold, the emptiness they'd been trying to avoid. They came back, didn't they? Tried to return, tried to find the warmth they once took without care. But the gates were closed, the doors were locked. And you? You weren't there anymore, waiting, hoping, giving. They knocked, but no one answered. They called, but there was silence. They wanted the warmth they had taken for granted. But you were out of reach now, and that frightened them. People like that thrive on the openness of others. They need someone to take from, someone to use, someone who will always be there no matter how many times they're let down. Your open heart made them feel less alone. It gave them power, made them feel like they mattered. But now, with the gates shut and the walls in place, they were forced to face the truth. They had taken too much, pushed too far, and in doing so, they lost the one person who always stood by them. Now, they're left to confront the emptiness they tried to escape. They're left with their own reflection, seeing the reality of who they are, someone who took, someone who used, someone who failed to appreciate the open heart that welcomed them. But you You are free now, free from the constant taking, free from the weight of their demands. You've chosen to protect yourself, to guard your heart, to decide who deserves to come in and who doesn't. Closing the gates wasn't about rejecting love. It was about safeguarding it. It was about valuing your own worth, your own heart. It was about reserving your love for those who truly deserve it. Not everyone is worthy of the warmth you give. Not everyone deserves a place in your heart. And now they can't reach you. They can't touch you. They can't take from you anymore. The gates are closed. The doors are locked. And you are no longer the person who lets them in just because they need a place to hide. You've become stronger, wiser, and finally free. Free to love yourself without losing pieces of yourself to someone who never deserved them. You've learned that real love doesn't take advantage. It doesn't drain you. It doesn't leave you empty. Real love fills you. It gives back. It sees your worth and cherishes it. And that is what you deserve. You deserve love that's equal, love that's real, love that respects your boundaries and values your heart. Now, the gates are closed. The story is over, and it's your time. Your time to rise, to shine, to love without fear of being used. The gates are closed, and you are finally free. You are free from the constant weight of others' expectations, free from the endless cycle of giving without receiving, free from the exhaustion of being drained by those who never truly saw you. Now, you are free to choose yourself, free to rebuild what was taken, to nurture your heart, to let it heal. You've claimed your space, your peace, and your power. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to your light, that your warmth is a gift, not an obligation, that your love is not for those who only take without giving back. The walls you've built aren't barriers to love. They're safeguards, protecting what is precious. They ensure that only those who respect and value you can get close. You've drawn the line, and now you stand firmly on your side of it. They will feel the absence of your light, the cold of your silence, the emptiness where your warmth once was. But that is not your burden to bear. It is theirs. And you? You stand stronger now, clearer, lighter. You carry no regrets, only lessons. No bitterness, only resolve. You've grown in ways they could never imagine. Your heart is still open, but only to those who are worthy, only to those who will protect it, nurture it, and meet your love with love of their own. This is your time, to live, to love, to thrive, to let your kindness bloom in the right hands, to build connections that lift you, not drain you. The gates are closed, the door is locked, and you are finally free to embrace the life you've always deserved.